Okay, hi everyone, I am Mrs. Monson. Today we're going to be talking about collection development, but first we're going to take 2 quick minutes to get you thinking about this concept. I want you to think about your favorite childhood collection. Maybe you still have it, maybe you've gotten rid of it. With a shoulder partner, just the people at your table, let's take 2 minutes and talk about when you decided to let part of that collection go. What was the thinking? Why did you have to get rid of part of it? Why did you keep certain parts, let other parts go? Okay, so 2 minutes, talk with the people at your table. What criteria did you use? Okay, go.
I have my Pokemon cards. I got to throw them away. Didn't you give them to me or something too? But now it's like, I really like the games much better.
Sounds like so. I'm hearing like because you don't use them anymore, because you substituted something else.
And I have.
Okay.
Okay, so she said, okay, you have to get rid of 7 stuffed animals. So I got rid of 3.
My mom threw all mine.
Okay, somebody got rid of it for you, it sounds like. So what are some other reasons why you kind of put on this?
My mom made me.
Somebody imposed a rule on you. Okay, maybe space-wise.
Yeah, that was one thing. I had 3 big buckets, like, overflowing with such animals, and I was like, we're throwing these out. I was like, okay.
So what did she tell you? What was her reasoning why you had to do it?
I bought 2 pieces and I said all that stuff. And Legend moved on to Legend.
Oh, yeah. So you had a bigger authority saying. I used to have. Yeah, okay.
I don't need all this stuff.
And then I started hating it. Legos are engineering building.
So no longer you.
I sold it.
So mute space, no longer used. Okay.
Old toys.
I played Blade.
I used to have Blade in the collection.
What's Blade?
I donated.
Okay, so why did you want it to donate, or why did your parents?
Because it was.
Take your space.
Space. You're not using it.
It with all my collections.
Someone else took up good. Okay. Something to do. Okay. Or worn out. Yeah.
These 2 right here.
No, my Legos.
So what was?
I have things like clothes.
Yeah, that's why I have to put them as a giant
I do like real stuff.
But I got
Kind of black color, it's a white black color. But I don't.
Yeah, I never liked those.
Oh, look at this thing. It's animated. Chinese kids. They all and other kids and they
Yeah, I would use them. You're doing great.
Okay, give me 5 here. All right, let's hear some of the, and I bet I'm hearing some similar things. So let's hear quickly 3 or 4 reasons why you got rid of parts of your collection or your whole collection. Okay, go, Joseph, here's one.
donating to charity.
Okay, so you knew someone else could use it, so it was donated out, so someone else could use it. What's some other reasons why maybe a parent said you have to get rid of this thing? Nava? Okay, so you're not using it. What's some other reasons why?
Well,
No, it's okay.
you never liked it.
Okay, maybe you decide, you know what, I have this, but I never liked it. And so it really didn't fit your taste or what you were interested in anymore.
If it's closed and then they get too small, you grow out of them.
It's just not useful for you anymore in a way. How many of you had parents say, we don't have enough space for that?
Oh, yes.
Okay, your closet is too full of shoes. Your toy box is too full of Beanie Babies. You don't have enough space. So I'm hearing not enough space. Somebody else could use it. I don't use it anymore. It doesn't fit. I'm not interested in it. These are all things that a librarian has to think about in their collection development. Okay, so what we are going to do or talk about is weeding in the library. That's not gardening, but it's kind of the same concept. So here's our learning objectives for today. Can I have somebody read these 3 off for me?
Understand one aspect of collection development in the library. Collaboratively work to analyze selections of the collection based on a given criteria. Crew
Musty.
work. Use technology to engage in and the formality self-assessed learning.
So, okay, so crew, is he delivered to the nurse? Yeah.
They just think he has a migraine.
Crew, musty, and worst are acronyms that librarians use to figure out should this book stay or should this book go. And I'm going to talk more about those in a second. Formatively self-assess, we're going to do a Padlet at the end of this where you're going to reflect on what did you think about this activity. So we're going to apply parts of ED8, our design principle, to collection development. Now you all have a handout, and this is just going to be a way for you to keep track of some of this information, and you're going to use this information when you are assessing if a book should stay or a book should go. First, CREW. CREW stands for Continuous Review, Evaluation, and Weeding. So you'll find a spot for that on your handouts. This is what librarians use throughout the year. They're always looking at their collection. That's the continuous review. They're always evaluating, okay, are teachers and students actually going to use these books? And then they're weeding, saying, okay, we don't need to keep this, but we do need to keep this. These are some facts about our library. Our current librarian, Mrs. Raz, did a collection development analysis. We have 12,539 books in our library. The average age is 2009. The American Library Association recommends that you weed 5% of your books annually. So 5% of that big number is 626.95 or 627 books a year. Give me a thumbs up if those numbers surprised you a little. How many of you are like, no, that makes sense? Okay, how many were, give me a thumbs up if you're like, yeah, that's good, let's get rid of them. How many of you are like, no, we can't get rid of any books ever, no.
I can't.
I know who our collectors are. This was shocking to me the first time I read that number, and then I started thinking about what you guys started with. We need to get rid of things for space because we want to bring in the new. We want to support the changing curriculum. We're changing to having more and more STEM students. We want to have things that reflect what you want to read. So we have to get rid of those things. A little background on what the numbers mean. Now, in fiction, so starting with Mr. Washington all the way over, okay, what was surprising?
Wait, you get rid of that many books because, like, for me, at home, I probably have, like, 500, I don't know. That'd be like getting rid of my entire book collection.
I'm a book hoarder as well, so it's difficult to think of, oh, I'd have to get rid of these because I want more. Joseph?
I didn't think there were 12,500 books in this library.
That's another surprising number. We used to have more, and then as we've changed our demographics and thought about, okay, what books are really being used, we've cut it down. It's better to have fewer books that kids are actually using and teachers are actually using than more books that aren't being used and that kids can't access. Anybody else surprised by something here? Okay, so we've got a big job, don't we? So a little background on these numbers. Just a little review, thinking about our fiction books, and that starts where Mr. Washington is and works our way over. How are fiction books categorized on the shelves? What's on the spine? Yeah.
The first 3 letters of the author's last name?
Exactly. So you'll see FIC for fiction, first 3 letters of the author's last name. Non-fiction books, and that's going to start from this area over here all the way over, are classified in our library by the Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah, they have like the results.
each one of those numbers corresponds to one of these 10 categories. So this is some background about Mr. Dewey. He was a librarian in the 1800s, 1873. He came up with this system of classifying books. Basically, he said, okay, we want all of the books on the same topic to be in the same space in the library. So if you go into one library and want a book on camping, you go to another library, you can find it in the same spot. And so he developed those 10 categories as a way of helping people group things by topic. Now these are really, really general. Here's a way to think about each one of those categories. So where it says general works is think about what do I need? Everyone say, what do I need?
What do I need?
So that's your references, general reference things. Philosophy. Everyone say, who am I?
Who am I?
I like that drama there. So those are when you're trying to figure yourself out. Psychology books would be in there. Ethics, like rights or wrong, what's right and what's wrong. Logic. Religion, that's going to be, what do I believe? Does everyone say that?
I believe.
So beautiful. So this is all different religions, not just the Bible, but other religions, theology. Social sciences. Who is my neighbor?
Who is my neighbor? I don't need social sciences.
So that's sociology, that's law, so that's interacting with the people around you. Languages, how do I communicate?
How do I communicate?
Oh, I love middle school. Okay, pure sciences, what is my world?
What is my world?
So there's a difference between pure sciences and technology. Pure sciences, that's actually the general world. So the biology, the botany, the chemistry, mathematics. 600s, that's where a lot of you are going to be interested in for technology. That is, how do I interact with my world?
How do I interact with my world?
You guys are awesome. So engineering, agriculture, business are in this section. 700s, that's the arts. What do I do with my free time?
What do I do with my free time? Try and eat.
So that's photography, music, drawing, things having to do with movies. How many of you enjoy looking at graphic novels or the manga books? Okay, that's got to be at least one of you in here. One more.
I read manga.
How many of you have ever checked out a graphic novel? Okay. Those are, even though they are fiction, a lot of them are fiction, they're in the 700 section because they're considered artwork, because it's a graphic arts. Okay, literature, that's going to be your poetry, your drama, your essays. Classical literature would be under the 800s, and then 900s is your history. What happened before? Specifically, 920s are biographies. How many of you used a biography for National History Day? Okay, that's going to be in that section. Keep going. So this is pulled from the GCISD website. So on your handout, if you'll go to the next page, I would suggest you get some of these down. This is going to be a way you can filter because you're actually going to dive into the shelves and decide if a book should stay or should go. This is from the District Manual for Librarians, kind of their guidelines for if they should keep a book or not keep a book. I want you to read these silently and think about, would you agree or disagree with some of these? Agree or disagree with some of these? Okay, what's one on there that you would agree with, that you would say, yes, I think that's a good idea?
Geography, that's 10 plus years old.
Okay, so the geographies falls under the 900 section. Why would that be important to get rid of a geography book that's over 10 years old?
Because things have changed.
False information.
Okay, false information, things have changed. Border lines of different countries have changed and moved in the last 10 years, and you want resources that update that. Okay, what's another one that you agree with that makes sense to you?
For the 600s, if it's more than 5 years old.
Okay, so what about the 600s makes sense for that?
because it's technology, and since technology is developing so rapidly, you could have a book that says, computers are a new development.
Exactly. Okay, applied technology, that changes constantly. So even something, sometimes even 4 years old, if you have a book that's called The Digital Age from 1992, that's not going to be have really good information. Let's take one more thing that you agree with that makes sense as a filter. Yeah.
Worn out or badly damaged.
Okay. You probably aren't going to check it out if it's falling apart, if the spine is coming off. And it's hard to just keep hold of it. You don't want to be blamed or charged for that if it comes back battered. Okay, here are things that we could stay despite the age. Despite the age. Read through these silently and tell me if you agree or disagree with that. Okay, what would you agree with on here of a book could stay? Yeah, now.
The fairy tales, folktales, biographies of statesmen, that important figures.
Right. If the book is still in good condition, a fairy tale about Cinderella is going to be a fairy tale about Cinderella. What else, Carson?
Well, there's one on the, well, I don't know if it does look the same thing, but like I thought about books with history because history doesn't, well, like old Texas history doesn't change, so books like that, no matter how old the book is still good information.
So what you'd have to look at there maybe is if it has the information, but it's also somehow biased. Like if it's really, well, not just old, but maybe it has some stereotypes about certain types of individuals in that book, then you might consider, even though it has the information, we might need to get rid of it. But if it just has information that's facts, that's useful. Yes?
I just wanted to add on to that.
Yeah?
One other reason that you might want to dispose of, not really dispose, but move on books that are historical is that maybe like at that time, there's still like mysteries like right now. Like have you ever heard of the Ulfbert, the Viking sword? We don't know exactly what is, we don't know exactly like who made it or its origin. And so if we were to like write a history book about it, right now, there would be unknowns, but maybe in the future we figure out exactly like where it comes from.
So there would be certain topics that would be constantly updated. So if it was current, like within the last 5 years, it might have the most updated information. But then if I know as a librarian in the last 5 years there have been a lot of updates or recent findings, I might say, you know, I know that there's new significant information out about that topic, so maybe I should consider setting that aside, or maybe I should, I have to really consider that one. Okay, we're going to quickly move on to our 2 acronyms that we use. And I just like saying musty or worst, because I think that's what I think of, at least that's how I can let go of a book if I think, is this the worst or is it musty? Because otherwise I want to keep every book. Is it misleading? Is it ugly, meaning it's not in good condition? Superseded by new edition or a better resource. What that's saying is there a new, more current version of that out? Is it worn out? Is it out of date? Has it not been checked out in 3 or 4 years? Can you find the information somewhere else? Is there better information on a database or on the internet? Is it trivial or faddish? So maybe in the 700 section, the previous librarian bought like 5 books on how to make those rubber band bracelets, or 10 books on how to make those rubber band bracelets, when really most students are going to just go to a YouTube video at this point. Okay, are there any questions?
Where do the books go whenever they're like gone?
Okay, that's an excellent question. I asked that one myself for our library coordinator. So where do the books go when they're packaged up? If they're not in good condition, so if the spine's broken and they really can't be prepared, they're disposed of, they're recycled. And that happens sometimes. It's sad, but it's what happens. If they're in good condition, they're packaged up and they're sent to the library warehouse. Then they look at them and say, okay, if these are being sent out of the library because they're really too young, so if we have a significant number of books that would be more for K through third grade, then we go out to the elementary schools and say, hey, would you like these books? Because that makes sense that they might use that books. Once they're in the central warehouse, then sometimes they'll be donated to other schools, organizations. Sometimes they're sold just at an auction. It kind of depends on the director's.
The library warehouse has book auctions?
Sometimes, they've had them in the past. Usually they're just redistributed in some way.
Fair enough.
If I find out more specifically, I will let you know, and I will be there with you at that library auction. But that was an excellent question. Where do the books go? All right. So, time to dig into the shelves. Here's what you're going to do. On that handout, I want you to find the page that says Partner Names, Your Toolkit. On the very last page, this is a list of references, the pictures I used here and on the handout, as well as the books I used for finding this information. Okay, you see 4 columns on there. One says call number, one says Dewey category, one says title, one says stay or go. So Ms. Raz pulled these lists for me. I'm going to give each group a list. You're going to try to find at least 3 to 5 of those books, and then you're going to record them on your sheet and decide, should this book stay or should this book go? You'll notice over here, I've already got one that, this was a fiction book pulled by one of the other classes. It is from 1990, this makes me feel so old saying this. This is from 1995. It's called Beware of Kissing Lizard Lips. It has not been checked out probably in 3 or 4 years, if not more. It's not in bad shape as far as books go. I mean, it's still got a pretty good binding. It's a little worn on the images, but it's 1995, and it hasn't been checked out. It doesn't look like a very current topics. I would say this would be one to go so we can get more up-to-date or current library books in here. Give me a thumbs up if you would agree with that. Give me a thumbs up if you would say, no, you have to keep it. Okay, this would be one I would say that could be. You're going to be primarily in the nonfiction section, so that's this area over here and the other side. You're going to have to really dig in to find it. So in your groups, I would suggest dividing them up. If you cannot find a book on your list, so if your first book is call number 00.4JOR, that's the generalities, and you can't find it, I want you to write on there CF or can't find, because maybe it's, I don't know, it may have been pulled somewhere else, and that will help Mrs. Raz know kind of to find the books. Please, once you've found something, cross it off. Whether you say it's going to stay or go, cross it off so the next class isn't looking for that. Okay, 30 seconds, find a group of 2 or 3. 2 or 3. 2 or 3. All right, I'm going to give you your list, and you're going to get started. All right, ladies, you're going to start on this side. Start on here. Gentlemen, you will start on this side, so that's 759. So just keep going through.
Tucker.
So 759. So that's 400s, 500s. That's going to be on the other side. I would suggest trying to find 5 books and bring it back to your table. Okay. All right, gentlemen, you're going, like this one says can't find, but you can find it. So I would start with this one, 808.8. So that's going to be it's on the other side. That's the literature section. So just start with that one, see if you can find it. Decide. Where should it go?
Who's got the one we
Yeah,
have?
it's up there if it's going to go. Okay. All right. Okay, if you find books that need to go, they go on the shelf, and we'll put a sticky note on it. But you do need a document on your page why it needs to go. Okay, guys, you're going to start with the biography 92. That's going to be on the side of this one. Well, there's some right there. Biography. I think most of them are right there. All right, so start here, 92 TWA, so it's 920. And if you can't find it, write CF. Once you found them, this is an encyclopedia biography, so we may or may not have that on the shelf. It's a 9 sometimes they're 8 years, 9. Okay, so you can find 5, you're documenting these together. All right, girls, I'm gonna have you go over to the fiction section. Okay, so starting with this one, fiction, COO, so that's right here. See if you can find 5.
Looking for 9.
This is right here. This is like the interest level, that's young adult, that's the 6th grade. This is kind of the reading level. These are other ways, like their AR reading here, the exile level. I would just focus on, this is the interest level. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the interest level, and this is what's considered a brilliant.
First one.
So it doesn't matter, start on one side, and as soon as you find it, if you can't find it in CF, once you found it, cross it off. Even if you think, oh, it should stay, leave it on the shelf, if it should go, we'll put it over here. Okay?
I think we should do California.
All right, kiddos?
What is crazy? Beach girl. I mean, California beach lady.
Oh, continuous review,
And
evaluation.
then he went up to me and said, he was like,
Okay.
but
You guys are going to
He said something like that. Hurry up, Patricia. No, you
the M's, M-A-A. So you'll do the same thing, try to find 5 of these.
Biography or history?
Well, what number is it?
900, but like,
But biography falls underneath history. So you can say biography is fine. So under this page, the call number is this. The Dewey category, you can just say fiction. Titles here. On here, this is the publication year. This is the interest level, so they consider this one a young adult novel. This is the reading level, so you're ignoring this. So these are just other ways of distinguishing. These are the first 2 you want to pick one. So try to find 5. The title, should it stay or should it go? If you think it should go, bring it up and put it on the shelf. Yeah, put it on the shelf. Yes, please. Okay. I'm confusing.
All right, let's do this. Let's go, team.
Okay. So you start with the 0 to 100s. So
I like Hamilton. Here.
Nope.
she used to have somebody here.
You're still videoing?
Yeah. So the first one is the call number. The second is the title. The third is the publication year. The fourth one is what's called the interest level, in 3rd through 6th grade, or young adult. The fourth is the reading level. The other columns are just different ways of assessing your reading level if you don't know it. So you can kind of ignore the last one. All of these are from the 90s and they have very little circulation. Okay?